Welcome to the Bite Size Fitness Show, where we talk all things fitness, nutrition, and habits and break them down into smaller, more digestible, bite-sized pieces of content for you to enjoy. My name is Sean Bikert and I am your host, and in today's episode, I'm going to be giving you my top 5 biggest fitness mistakes that men make. So a few weeks back, closed down the gym, and my brother and I started a new fitness program called Fit Fusion Brotherhood, where we work exclusively with men. So even though this content will continue to have predominantly unisex-based content, information, all that good stuff, there are going to be some specific episodes that are targeted towards men. So you can expect to see a little bit more of that, but don't despair. Most of the content will still be applicable for both men and women. Also apologize, it is allergy season out there, so if it looks like my head's about to explode, I'll hang in there for you guys. I'll tough it out, but just give me a little bit of grace today. Okay, so without further ado, number 5 biggest fitness mistake that men make is ego lifting. Now, this one's not the biggest mistake to make in the world because people who tend to ego lift also tend to work really hard. The last video I did, I talked about the difference between efficiency and effectiveness and how effectiveness beats efficiency all day, every day. And ego lifting, it's really about being effective over being efficient. So you're putting in the work, you're working really hard, you're forcing yourself onto these heavy weights, which is probably going to get the job done. Now, it's not ideal. You can get it done quicker. You can get it done more efficiently if you do it the right way. You're also probably not working the muscles that you're intending on working, and the chances of you getting injured are going to be much higher if you ego lift. So it's much better to check that ego at the door, start from scratch, work your way up, get comfortable with the movement, and you'll notice you get results quicker, more efficiently, and safer. Number 4, little to no strength training. This was something that I wasn't even going to put on the list originally until I started talking to a lot of guys recently that aren't doing strength training at all, because I just assumed most men kind of incorporated this to begin with. So there's no downside to strength training. There are benefits with how you look, with how you feel, with your health as you age. Doesn't matter if you're male, female, young, old, beginner, advanced. Strength training is something that everyone should do. You're going to expedite your fitness or physique related goals a lot quicker if you include strength training. So I notice a lot of guys are really good with their diet. They're just doing a ton of cardio. They're super healthy. They feel good, but they're not happy with the way they look. And that's because they don't do strength training. They do little strength training, or they're just not really pushing themselves with strength training. So it's something that is absolutely crucial. It is foundational. One of the biggest, most important parts of any sort of fitness program that I would preach. So if you're one of those guys that's doing little to no strength training, just not sure what to do, you're kind of stuck, first thing I would say is start strength training more. Number 3, don't be the guy who skips leg day. We all know that guy with the jacked upper body at the beach looking good, and then all of a sudden you look at his legs and he's got little chicken legs that he's trying to cover up with really baggy swimsuits, right? You don't want to be that guy. Don't skip leg day. It's a bad look, but also the biggest and strongest muscles in your body come from your lower body. So you're just not maximizing all of your strength, your body's capability to generate force if you're not doing legs. Also, you're going to increase your body's ability to produce testosterone and human growth hormone, which is going to directly and indirectly assess all of those physique and fitness related goals that you have. Okay, so incorporate leg day. I know it's not the most fun workout for a lot of guys out there. It's going to build character, it's going to build mental toughness, and it's a much better look when you have to wear those shorts. Number 2, doing too many push or anterior based movements. A lot of chest press, a lot of chest stuff, a lot of shoulders, biceps, and even if you're doing legs, maybe a lot of quads. But a lot of guys tend to neglect the back. So upper back, lower back, glutes, and hamstrings. And a few things that can happen here. Number 1 is you get an imbalance. With the upper body, you start to have the shoulders round forward as the chest is dominant, the back is weak, and then you put your shoulder joint at risk for injury. Number 2, if you do more quads than hamstrings or glutes, you're putting a lot of stress on the knee. So the chances of getting knee pain is a lot more common. And then also, by strength training your back, it's a good look. You can tell a guy who lifts weights. You can tell a guy who's strong. You can tell a guy who's fit by looking at his back. Any guy that has a broad back, that you can see those muscles underneath the shirt, you know that guy's putting in the work at the gym. Looks really good posture-wise, saves your shoulders. Same thing with the glutes and hamstrings. So if you're one of those guys that only does leg extensions and leg presses and you're not doing anything in the backside of the body, number 1, again, it's a bad look. You don't want to be the guy with the flat ass wearing shorts or jeans. It's something that women always laugh at and kind of poke at. So don't be that guy. I notice a lot of guys are really dominant quad. So they can do a good squat, they can do okay lunges, but their deadlifts are terrible. So make sure you're not neglecting the glutes and hamstrings. Make sure you're not neglecting the back, because the posterior chain you should be doing at least as much, if not more, than the front side of your body. So don't miss out on that. By far one of the most common mistakes we see. And then number one, this is the most important one, is guys that prioritize isolation movements over compound movements. So isolation movements are movements that work one muscle group, usually maybe two, and only one joint, like a bicep curl, calf raise, these smaller muscles that are being targeted with only one joint, tricep extension, those kind of exercises. Whereas a compound movement is an exercise that works several joints and several muscles. So push-ups, pull-ups, chest press, squat, deadlift, lunge. These ones are much more efficient. This is where you're going to build the foundation. So doing more isolation movements than compound movements would be like if you're building a house and you're trying to frame the house before pouring and building the foundation. It's just a bad idea. It's not going to work. Okay, so I see a lot of especially new guys coming in that are strength training that don't really know what to do. The first thing they do at the gym, they'll do some bicep curls, and then they'll do some calf raises, and then some machine leg extensions. So stuff that only works one joint, and obviously this is better than doing nothing, but it's very important that you at least start off by doing a lot of compound movements first, build that foundation. So even with the program that we're building out with the Fit Fusion, the entire first program is all about prioritizing compound movements, building that foundation, and then you graduate to the second element of the program, which is what we call arm assault. And then that's when you can start to do a lot more isolation-based movements where you can work on those quote-unquote beach muscles. But you have to build that foundation first. Prioritize compound movements. Not saying you shouldn't do isolation ones, but leave them to the very end of the workout, and or wait until you've built a solid foundation from those compound movements first. Okay, so just to recap, number 5, ego lifting. Number 4, little to no strength training. Number 3, skipping leg day. Number 2, doing too many push or anterior based movements. And then number 1 would be doing too many isolation instead of compound exercises. So I hope this video helps. See you guys in the next one.